There was this old parade, but we weren't allowed to watch it go by. We lived in this town called Point Pine. When I was about 10 years old, we finally moved out of Point Pine. I lived in Arizona for the most of my life. In Arizona, we lived in this small town which I don't think even existed on map, called Point Pine. My parents tried to forget about that town as much as they could, and I don't blame them because Point Pine had some weird stuff. See, there was this bakery called Point Pine Bakery, which was run by Mr. Roger. Mr. Roger, whenever we went there, when he wanted us to tip him in clothing, which is probably something which you grew out of or won't wear it anymore. So there will be a lot of baby stuff kept in a box, in which you had to wear and tip it. That was one of the weird things. But then there was the Point Pine Bakery. Every year there will be a Point Pine parade in which a girl or a boy is chosen to work at. Last year my sister's friend Reed was chosen to work. Nobody has ever described Point Pine to my family until I'm telling you right now. So last year, my friend Lee and I decided to watch that parade. And then, before I go to the parade, there was another weird thing. We all had to be up at 8:30 sharp. There would be like huge alarms which would go off at sharp 8:30 a.m. and parents would jolt up and run to their kids' bedroom to wake the kids up. It was like an emergency happening or a fire alarm. Back to the parade. So yeah, we decided to watch that parade. The parade was, well, I can't really describe it, but to the story you will soon figure it out. So then when we heard the church choir start, we had 5 minutes or 5 seconds to dart into the buildings. So when the chorus started, it sounded like a church choir, so we could identify it. And it happened every year around July 4th. So then after that, we decided that we were going to watch the parade, which I'm mostly surprised that most kids didn't try. So as soon as the parade started, me and Lee looked at each other and darted across the trees to the bushes. As we hit a corner of a tree, we saw Lee climbed up. Lee saw that the people were coming near them. He screamed, almost screamed. Otherwise, if he had screamed, we would have been in big trouble. And then he saw something that terrified him to the core. He saw my sister's friend Reed being eaten by those things. At this point, I didn't even want to watch that parade. I was a short kid, so I couldn't see it anyway, so I don't want to watch it anyway. Then we heard the chorus started getting louder. They were coming near us. At this point, Lee started wailing. He covered his eyes and started looking down. I asked him, Lee, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Then Lee suddenly told, I don't want to watch this parade at this point at all. After a while, the chorus stopped. Everyone came out of their bushes. I helped Lee up. He was still crying. I asked him, Lee, what's wrong? Then he looked at me with no eyes. That was the first time I seen Lee looked that scared. And after this incident, me and my family moved out of Point Pine. I was the most terrified. I don't blame my parents for trying to forget about the crazy things that happened in Point Pine. I never knew of Lee what happened to him. I never knew what became of Lee. Only thing I know is that the Point Pine parade is still there. And Lee was the only one to watch it.